team like Kyrie and KD, or the Lake Show with King James and AD. Wish I could match him up with the bad boys from the 80s, but no black and white, I need that in HD. HenDawgz.
Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your boy HenDawgz, and we back to it. You know how we do it. Another day, another making the case video. Got two more left. We got the LeBron one, which I'm about to do right now, and then I got Tim Duncan. So I got two left, and I'm feeling some type of way. I'm not gonna lie. I'm feeling a little weird about these because my guy don't have one. I don't know how LeBron and Tim Duncan got one, but Kobe don't. But that's for another story, man. This is not about me. This is about me completing the making the case videos. I told you I was gonna complete them, so that's what I'm gonna do, regardless of how I feel about them. But if you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. Go ahead and like this video if you like this video, and go ahead and write something in the comments. But most importantly, let's enjoy this video. I know a lot of people on the channel is not the biggest fan of LeBron James. That's something I've been noticing in the comments a lot. A lot of people, you know, they're just not the biggest fan. Like I said, it's either like Larry Bird, or Michael Jordan, Kobe, Magic. Like, it's a lot of players. There's a lot of people on the channel that love these guys, but they don't love LeBron. So I'm about to go on like a little binge. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna let y'all know right now. I'm going on a little binge and kind of go through a bunch of LeBron stuff, because I feel like, especially me, I'm from Ohio. I live in LA now, but born and raised in Ohio for the first 20 plus years of my life. So LeBron James is a very big part of that, a very big, you know, representation of Ohio. So I gotta respect it, man. I feel like it's my duty to kind of, you know, give y'all more info on LeBron on my channel. You know, so if y'all not that fond of LeBron right now, hopefully y'all will in the future. Hopefully y'all can kind of give a little bit more appreciation of him. Like, I don't know if y'all just don't really care for his, you know, his actual game on the court, or if y'all don't really care for, you know, the stuff he say off the court. Like, I don't know, and I really don't care. My job is, you know, give the accomplishments, and, you know, kind of speak highly of this guy. Like I said, that's from Ohio, you know, came from nothing, and is now arguably the greatest player of all time. So let's get into his making the case video. We got making the case LeBron James. Let's get it.
Basketball is special. The size of the court and the lack of pads or helmets give fans the most intimate experience of a team sport that exists. And because of the different styles that basketball allows for, players develop their own distinct identities and signature styles through their creativity, flair,
pistol,
and athleticism. And although no player succeeds alone, the scoring volume and two-way nature of the sport give individual stars a nearly unprecedented amount of control over the flow and outcome of a game. For this reason, players are constantly compared to their peers and to the legends of the past in order to answer the most hotly contested question in the sport: who's the greatest to ever do it? For many, the question is redundant. They believe in only one right answer: their answer. Others might have their own personal stance, but acknowledge one or two alternatives. But I believe that there's much more nuance to the question of greatness and more answers to it than you might think. By my count, there are 8 players in NBA history that have a substantial claim as the GOAT. It's a subjective thing, though. I can't give you a definitive answer. All I can do is make the argument. So today, I'll be making the case for LeBron James as the greatest basketball player of all time.
Okay. Let's talk about Bronny, man. I mean, LeBron James. Let me say his correct name. Let's talk about LeBron James. Let's get it, Clayton.
To begin making the case for...
Before we start, go ahead and grab your coffee, your snacks, your favorite candy, whatever. This is a 30-minute video. So this is a pretty long video. I'm sure you're going to break it up into pieces, but this is, like I said, this is going to be pretty long. So get comfortable, get that back straight. You know, we don't want no bad postures, and let's get to it.
LeBron James.
No.
Michael Jordan is the GOAT.
LeBron James isn't built like that. There's no way. There's no way that he is the GOAT.
Get out of here.
What are you
really,
talking about?
LeBron? You're making a video about LeBron being the GOAT.
Get out of here.
No. And just like that, we've started the LeBron GOAT case off right. Somebody like me makes a video like this, to which a certain segment of the population reacts by getting so mad that they start to pop blood vessels. And
I know some of y'all is going, oh shit, shout out to the Bird gang. I ain't even know Bird was about to pop up. But I know a lot of y'all probably saw this video and was like, oh shit, like, there's fucking no way. Like, why would it even be a video even talking about LeBron being maybe the case of being the greatest player of all time? But let's just give it some time, man. If y'all rock with me, then y'all should rock with me going through this video of him explaining how LeBron is the GOAT. Because I personally don't think he's the GOAT. I think he's top 3, top 5 maybe, but I just kind of want to hear Clayton talk about it, and I'm going to give my opinion on it. So let's get it.
it's a really interesting reaction to me. I've made videos about why players like Larry Bird and Tim Duncan are the GOATs, and sure, I get some "this video is garbage because MJ is the GOAT" comments, but it's mostly been people having a lovely chat about the merits and nuances of those players' careers. I don't expect that to be the case today. But why? Why is it that LeBron, more than any other player, gets Jordan truthers so defensive?
I don't know.
If you are one of those volatile Jordan defenders and you're racing to the comments right now, I know that there's nothing I can do to stop you. But for the rest of you, please, just humor me, even if you think Jordan's the GOAT. Hear what I have to say. We all still love basketball.
Right.
We can all still be friends. When LeBron James was a freshman at St. Vincent St. Mary's High School in Akron, Ohio, he posted per-game averages of 18 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists. The Irish went undefeated, 27-0, won the state championship, and James was named the state tournament MVP. And just like that, the final year of anonymity for LeBron James was over. In the summer, between his freshman and sophomore years, James's play on the AAU circuit caught the eyes of every scout he encountered. Word began to spread far and wide about the man-child from Akron, Ohio. In his sophomore season, he saw an increase in every box score figure. His team started playing home games at the University of Akron's arena in order to seat the thousands of spectators. His team lost one game all year and won the state championship again. He became the first sophomore ever named to USA Today's All-USA First Team. He had officially entered the territory of Phenom. Scouts were infatuated with James for a number of reasons. He had every measurable you could want out of a 16-year-old. Tall, strong, good wingspan, off-the-charts athleticism. But he also had superb instincts, a natural enthusiasm for the game, an unselfish play style, preternatural passing abilities, and strong leadership qualities. Which is why, in his junior year, Sports Illustrated put LeBron on its cover. Now, this cover didn't single-handedly trigger the outrageous expectations of LeBron James, but it certainly helped. The cover acknowledged James's unprecedented talent at such an early stage, while alluding to the expectations, hopes, and wonders that such an unbelievable talent would have to bear.
And for me, this is why LeBron is so amazing, because he had so much expectations. Like, it's argued that he had more expectations than any other player ever, in basketball history. But on top of that, he exceeded the expectations. Like, I say that, and he still exceeded it. Like, with all the expectations he had, he still went way further than people ever can imagine. And I think just thinking about that, man, is some of the craziest shit ever you could think about as far as basketball, as far as a player. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. Just think about that for a second.
Beginning his junior year, James and the Irish would play their home games almost exclusively at the University of Akron's arena. ESPN2 began broadcasting their matchups to the country, and Time Warner Cable started selling his games on pay-per-view for $7.95 a pop to the Akron populace. The hype was substantiated by more incredible play from James, who improved from year to year. As a junior, he was named to a second All-USA First Team and became the first junior to ever be named the Gatorade National Player of the Year. As a senior, he won a second National Player of the Year award and was named to an unheard-of third All-USA First Team. James's junior year remains the turning point of his celebrity. It was then that he went from highly touted young prospect to inheritor of the sport of basketball. And that's the thing. We as sports fans fetishize potential. The allure of the future is endless. If a player has potential, they can be anything. It hasn't happened yet, so it's still technically possible, no matter how outrageous the expectation may be. But then if they don't succeed, we label them as failures, busts. Couldn't do it, didn't pan out. Never mind the fact that we were the ones who set the expectations to begin with. Promise is a double-edged sword, and this was promise like no other. LeBron was the first real athletic prodigy of the internet era. It was the first time that the country could whip itself up into this kind of frenzy about the next big athlete in the uber-commercialized post-Jordan NBA. These days, young prospects in every sport get enough smoke blown up their asses to host a barbecue, with top 100 recruiting lists and the videos with titles calling any prospect who hits back-to-back threes the next Steph Curry. It's too much to say that it started with LeBron, but he was undoubtedly the initial product of the hype machine we're familiar with today. He was so good at such a young age, and so many people saw him and talked about him and heard about him that the stakes were clear. LeBron James could not be a 6-time NBA All-Star. He couldn't win 1 or 2 MVPs. He couldn't be the next Tracy McGrady or the next Vince Carter. He had to be the face of the league and go down in history as one of, if not the, greatest basketball players of all time. In the Sports Illustrated article, the one that called him the chosen one, a label that he embraced by having it tattooed on his back, writer Grant Wall recognized the absurdity of asking if a 17-year-old who still couldn't buy cigarettes was really the heir to the next generation of basketball. But after seeing LeBron and talking to him, Wall concedes that it was indeed the right question. Was it ever? Selected ahead of college standout Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, who had just led Marquette to the Final Four and was named an All-American, college basketball's Player of the Year TJ Ford, and Carmelo Anthony, who had just led Syracuse to an NCAA championship. LeBron, out of high school, went ahead of all of them, with the weight of a franchise, a city, and perhaps a league on his 18-year-old shoulders. As the most anticipated basketball player since Lou Alcindor, LeBron James could not falter. What if he'd failed? What if the $100 million shoe deals and the celebrity and the fame had been too much too soon? And honestly, how wasn't it? How did LeBron not mess it all up? I don't know, but he didn't. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the incredible things that he's done since with his platform as the country's most famous athlete. He's spurred and advocated social change, especially in the realm of civil rights, from Trayvon Martin's shooting to the Black Lives Matter movement. He has been an indispensable source of goodwill and good fortune for his community. He's been the most important focal point in the era of player empowerment in the NBA.
And that's why I don't really understand why people don't really like him. Well, as far as, I mean, I can understand if you just don't like his game. Like, you just, he's just this athletic guy that doesn't really have much skill, That's one thing, just to just not think he's that great of a player. But to just not like him as a person, I really don't understand. I feel like LeBron's a cool dude. Am I wrong on that? Like, let me know in the comments why. If you're not the biggest fan of LeBron, let me know why. Let me know why in the comments. Kind of give me a little insight on why you feel like he's not, one of the greatest players that ever played this game. Let me know.
He didn't just defy the odds by not becoming a complete nutcase. He has leveraged his position, set an incredible example, and has been one of the best role models that any child or parent could ever ask for. He's still playing, which means that all of these accolades are subject to change, and likely will. But the only assumptions I'll be making are that LeBron finished within at least the top 5 of MVP voting this year and made first team All-NBA, which means he has been named to 13 All-NBA first teams and 16 total All-NBA teams, both records demonstrating his unbelievably prolonged reign over the sport. He's won 4 MVPs in 5 years, a feat only matched by Bill Russell, and finished in the top 5 of MVP voting in all but 3 of his 17 seasons. He's been selected to 16 All-Star games, 6 All-Defensive teams, and stands at or near the top of multiple all-time statistical leaderboards that demonstrate his all-around proficiency from playoff points scored to career assists. He has achieved such a universal and unique statistical position for a number of reasons. Namely among them, LeBron James is the best basketball player of all time. When James Naismith nailed a peach basket to a wall in a gym in Massachusetts, there was no way he could have ever imagined the games that he could have ever imagined an athlete like LeBron. The guy is 6'8", 260, built like Karl Malone, passes like Larry Bird, jumps like Michael, and surveys the stronger than the fastest. He has a cocktail of cerebral perception and hand-eye coordination that has made him one of the premier passers in league history. He has a 7-foot wingspan, a lightning-quick first step, supernatural anticipation, and an IQ on both ends of the court that comes from the brain of basketball's Da Vinci. It would be enough if LeBron had just built a name and career for himself thanks to his prodigious natural talents. But he worked diligently, year in and year out, to improve himself as a basketball player. He received criticism for not using his Herculean frame to lock down opponents. And so, he became a lethal defender and was twice the runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year.
Now, I don't know about the lethal defender. I'm going to kind of, play a little devil's advocate on that. But one thing I want to say is, a lot of people kind of say that LeBron pads his stats. That's kind of a knock that he gets. And it's something I always go back and forth with. Like, I really don't understand what that means. Like, or not I don't understand what it means, but I don't understand how it's a negative. How going out there, doing a lot of different things, to help your team win, how is that a bad thing? If I'm getting a bunch of points, a bunch of steals, a bunch of assists, a bunch of rebounds, a bunch of blocks, like, yeah, I'm padding my stats, but isn't that a good thing? Like a lot of people say, that's all LeBron cares about. He doesn't care about winning. He doesn't care about helping his teammates out. He just want to just pad his stats. And I don't know how I feel about that. Let me know how y'all feel about that. Write in the comments. What's your opinion on that? I'm actually pretty interested because I kind of want y'all to help me understand more on how that could be a bad thing. Let me know in the comments.
Opponents would exploit James's lack of post-game by assigning him smaller, quicker defenders. He spent the summer with Hakeem Olajuwon and became a back-down bully. To better space the floor and accommodate the modern style of basketball, he needed to improve his streaky jump shot. He became a master of efficiency and at his best was a 40% three-point shooter. There is no aspect of basketball that LeBron James is not superb at. It's a silly hypothetical, but I think it serves my point to say that a team of 5 LeBrons would beat a team of 5 of anybody else. He always had the whole package, but he never stopped adding to it. And he's been adding
5 LeBrons would be 5 of anybody else? Let me know what y'all think about that. I don't know.
To it for an insanely long time. He's been probably the best basketball player in the world since 2008 or 2009.
Hey.
If your life came down to one game, he's still one of the first calls you'd make at age 35 in year 17. He can do anything, does everything, and he's never had a truly significant injury. It wasn't until 2019 that he missed a substantial amount of time because of a groin injury. And aside from some issues with cramps and some occasional back trouble, LeBron has never been a liability in that department. He has the 4th highest scoring average in NBA history, and with the way basketball is played today, he can defend point guards and centers alike. Add all of that to a tireless work ethic, an unselfish play style, and a penchant for big moments, and you get the queen of the chessboard. When it comes to playing basketball, he is the best at it. Hold on. I think I hear something. It's the sound of Skip Bayless's acolytes losing their shit in my comment section. Best player ever. Big moments? No way. LeBron's terrible in the clutch. He hates taking the last shot. He doesn't have the killer instinct. He doesn't have what it takes to come through in crunch time.
That is something I heard. I know you're going to explain on how that's not the case next, but I heard that, he shies away from the big time moments in the sense of whenever it's time for him to score, whenever it's that 30 seconds, 20 seconds left in the game or whatever, he's never going to actually go to the rim. All of his game-winning shots are going to be all jump shots because he's not that good of a free throw shooter. So that's something I heard, and I'm like, let me actually gotta kind of, do research on that. Let me see. So these game winners right here, we're going to see if these are all jump shots or if these are going to be him getting to the hole. But let's see.
I don't know where this got started or how it's been able to persist, but that sentiment is just factually untrue. There is an overwhelming amount of evidence to support LeBron's clutch ability and killer instinct. There's statistics that show that James is clutch. Evidence, analytics, stuff made by people who know how to do math and use calculators and stuff. And if you don't believe them because they're nerds and because basketball isn't just about numbers, then just look at the dude's results. He's hit clutch shots in the regular season.
Jump shot. Oh, he got to shoot a 3 right here. This was crazy. This is one of his craziest shots of all time. Facts. That was crazy too. Gotta shoot a three. They're all jump shots, but a couple of them had to be
And
jump
he's hit
shots.
clutch shots in the playoffs.
Get to the hole. Okay. So I don't know about it. I don't know. I think Bron is clutch, man. I think Bron is clutch.
Throws up the floater.
He's all jump shots, though. Except for that one.
James, 2 seconds, 1 second for the win.
Don't tell me that he can't win games, or doesn't have a killer instinct, or isn't clutch, or any of that shit. He spent a lot of time playing in the biggest games too, in an absolutely loaded
Big
league.
facts.
In the playoffs, he has faced Gilbert Arenas, Chauncey Billups, Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant,
Where's
Ray
Dwight Howard?
Allen, Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett,
Where's Dwight
Dirk
Howard?
Nowitzki, Dwight Howard, Derek.
Damn, I missed the Dwight Howard. But yeah, I wish he would have beat Dwight Howard so that he could have been able to play against Kobe in the finals. That's one of my biggest disappointments in NBA history, that LeBron and Kobe never played in the finals. I think that would have been legendary, man. But he couldn't get past Dwight.
Derrick Rose, Al Horford and Paul Millsap, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry, Paul George, Victor Oladipo, Damian Lillard, and so on. And the players he's faced haven't just been eye-popping. He's lined up against some of the vaunted teams and franchises in NBA lore. He played the Spurs, the most successful post-Jordan franchise in basketball, 3 times
Lakers?
in the finals. And then he faces the Warriors in 4 straight finals. Meanwhile, LeBron's teams always seem to be overachievers. In his first 7 seasons in Cleveland, his best teammate by a mile was Mo Williams. Yeah,
That's
one-time
sad.
All-Star, Mo Williams. The Cavs front office can't be faulted for not trying to get LeBron help, but they certainly deserve some criticism for failing to actually get him help. Anderson Varejao, Zydrunas Ilgauskas, Larry Hughes, Drew Gooden, Eric Snow, Old Shaq, Ben Wallace's
Old
corpse.
Shaq.
None of them were really bona fide quality contributors who, in the roles they were supposed to fill, could compete and win a championship against the Spurs or the Celtics. The Cavs' entire philosophy during his first stint in the land was, he's so damn good, we'll just bank on him putting up ungodly numbers and carrying us to a win every single night.
I remember
which
that,
he
though.
usually somehow did. And when he left, look at how the Cavs floundered. From a league-high 61 wins to 19, the second worst record in the league.
Wow.
Nothing exemplified the plight of LeBron more than Game
Complete
5
180.
of the 2007 Eastern Conference Finals. With the series tied at 2 games apiece, LeBron and the Cavs were trying to pull off an upset against the former champion Detroit Pistons nucleus on their home court. With around 3 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter and the Cavs down 7,
crazy.
LeBron got fouled on a drive, and so began one of the most impressive stretches of basketball ever played in any series by any player.
I was gonna say, I think this might have been one of Bron's greatest moments ever. If not one, it gotta be like top 2 or 3. Like, this was amazing. Like, the way that he played in this last 2 minutes, I've never seen anything like that from LeBron ever.
In the finals that year, they lost because a 22-year-old LeBron couldn't beat the Pop, Parker, Manu, Duncan Spurs by himself. Shame on him. So is there any surprise that he wanted to go to a real team like Miami, where he didn't have to do everything? And make no mistake, it's not like he didn't still have his Atlas moments with the Heat. Game 6 of the 2012 Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, that's also something else that I feel like a lot of LeBron haters kind of say is he had to go to Miami to get help, and you know he's not this main guy. And for one, you can't win the finals by yourself. There's never been one player that's won the NBA Finals alone. And 2, he was the man in Miami. I mean, we could say what you want as far as him getting help, you know, getting D-Wade, getting all these different players that surrounded him to, you know, get himself help. He still won those Finals MVPs. He was the main guy. When it was time to score, they was giving him the ball. D-Wade was kind of deferring to him. Chris Bosh was deferring to him. It wasn't the other way around. It's kind of the same situation with Kevin Durant and the Warriors. And you know, I know this is not about KD. This is about LeBron, but it's kind of the same situation. You know, where they talk about, you know, KD can't be the man when he went to the Warriors and was still the man. It's kind of the same situation with Miami. Like, yeah, he went over there and got his help because you need help. You need help to win a finals. You need help to win consecutive games. But he was still the man. He was still that main guy on that team. Don't get it twisted.
But then LeBron put on this face and picked the Celtics apart. He had 30 points in the first half. In classic LeBron fashion, he was everywhere doing everything. He sucked the oxygen out of the arena and never gave it back, coming through with an all-time performance in maybe the most important game of his career.
I remember this.
2013 Finals, Games 6 and 7, leading the fourth quarter charge in Game 6, hitting a crucial 3 with 20 seconds left to set up Ray Allen's legendary shot.
Back out to James, another three. It's good. James knocks it down.
37, 12, and 4, plus the series icing jumper in Game 7.
Tim Duncan showing. James pulls up.
I feel like Bron plays his best when people is doubting him. Like when kind of everybody's kind of trying to write him off or, you know, kind of talking down on him. I think that's when he plays his best. And I want to say that's why I think the Lakers is going to make the playoffs or we going to might do something this year. But it's a wrap for that. It's a wrap for the Lakers this year. But I want to say that, though. But if LeBron come back and actually make the play-in game this year and actually do something in the finals or I don't even want to say the playoffs. If he could, all right, this is what I'm going to say. If LeBron James gets the Lakers to the play-in game and somehow wins a championship this year, he's the greatest player of all time. And I want y'all to say that too. Well, would that make him the greatest player of all time if somehow, some way, he gets the Lakers to win a championship this year? Write in the comments right now. Would that be a good enough way for all of us to call him the GOAT? Is if he gets the Lakers to win a championship there? Let me know right now.
4-point lead. 35 for LeBron James.
The game,
God.
series, and
Why they
runs
set the
that
jet up
he's
like
had
this?
will someday fill their own multi-part documentary. We'll talk about a few more later, but the overall theme is undeniable. LeBron has lived in the playoffs and thrived under the brightest of lights, despite the unique brand of scrutiny, doubt, and criticism that is his. But none of that matters to you, because of three things. The sources of so much of that doubt and criticism. The 2010 Eastern Conference semifinals, the decision, and the 2011 finals. All three events happened within the span of about 400 days. It started with the second round of the 2010 playoffs, Boston versus Cleveland. Despite having the best record in the league, the Cavs lost in 6 to the Pierce, KG, Ray Allen Celtics. LeBron's numbers look okay, but if you remember watching at the time, or you go back now and watch, you can tell that LeBron's just not there. He's checked out. No aggression, no urgency, stretches of total detachment. He was a no-show. And no one still knows definitively why, but salacious rumors persist that you can look up for yourself. Whatever the reason, the loss amped the noise around LeBron up to new levels. He can't do it. He doesn't have it. The basketball world prepared itself for one of the most consequential free agent decisions ever. What they got was the decision.
If we got any Northeast Ohioans watching this video, I want y'all to answer this for me. Or just Cleveland fans in general, because where I'm from, we're about 2 hours west of Cleveland. And I'm sure it was still some animosity that over in Toledo too, but I want y'all to answer this question. Like, how was the mentality towards LeBron this first time? Did it make it worse that he went on live television and, you know, made this announcement so for millions of people to see it? Or was it just terrible, you know, either way? Because I remember people was burning his jersey and people was, you know, really upset. But I'm not sure if that was the overall consensus. Because, you know, the media might just want to focus on those few people that was burning his jersey where, you know, maybe 80% of the people actually was happy for him. You know, let me know how y'all think that the Cleveland people, or if you actually are from that area, how was the overall consensus of LeBron leaving and going to Miami? And y'all think it would have been, like I said, y'all think it would have been easier, or y'all think it would have been not as bad if he wouldn't have went on live fucking television and announced that he was leaving his hometown to millions of people? Let me know in the comments.
He had quit on Cleveland in the playoffs and followed it up with the mother of all backstabs. The decision remains perhaps the single meanest thing an athlete has ever done to their franchise. It was mindless, shallow, insulting, and egotistical in a profound way. LeBron quickly went from one of the most popular and celebrated athletes in the country to its most hated. Cavs owner Dan Gilbert published an infamous letter tearing James apart. Fans burned his jersey in the streets. Conversations about how LeBron was wired and whether he could be the guy flooded the airwaves. But the funny thing was, I don't think anyone really faulted him for wanting out of Cleveland. It was clear that he didn't get the help that a superstar needs in order to capitalize on their talents. The criticism was first and foremost with the execution, doing it in a self-aggrandizing live TV special. The criticism quickly turned into nonsensical, inane cliches and false narratives.
But one thing also that they said about the whole live TV decision was the money that he made from that, he donated to the Boys and Girls Club. So you can't win for losing, man. You gotta just do what's best for you and say fuck everybody else. You know, I always got my teaching point. And I think for this video, my teaching point is do what you want to do, man. Because if whatever you do, there's going to be 50% people that love it and 50% people that hate it. And you can't please everybody. So hey, it is what it is.
And LeBron, whatever that means.
What?
Was
What
the
does that
decision
mean?
the dumbest thing LeBron could have done? Yes. Was it a knife in the back of the community that had supported him as he ascended from chosen one to superstar? Yes. Was most of this criticism of his mental makeup and desire to win baseless and spiteful?
Yes. But they doing all this shit. Cleveland's so funny, man. Y'all doing all this and y'all welcoming him back with open arms, man. Y'all gotta chill. If I really felt like this, y'all wouldn't have been so excited when he came back.
Also, yes. But it probably didn't feel that way for a lot of NBA fans at the time. They hated him. He had quit on and betrayed his team. So when the Heat lost the 2011 finals, the hate boners raged in full force. And the Heat didn't just lose because the Mavs were better. They lost because LeBron choked. His scoring average plummeted to 17 points a game, down from 26 during the regular season. And of those 17 points a game, only 3 came during the fourth quarter, which is especially damning considering how tight the series was. James turned himself into public enemy number 1, promised a jewelry box's worth of rings, and when the world was watching, completely flopped.
Not one,
there are no
not
excuses.
two, not
I can't
three,
tell you
not
actually
four.
LeBron played really well, or that his team let him down. He sucked.
Shout out to Dirk too. I know this is about LeBron. You know, I try to do my best in his reaction videos to focus on exactly who I'm reacting to. But shout out to Dirk, man. I can't just let Dirk go unnoticed. He beat a team that was very, very, very good. And he did his thing. So shout out to Dirk. Gotta give him his flowers.
He let them down, and they lost. It's a fact. Should it define him forever? No. Because if we take a trip into yesteryear, we can look at a young point guard on the Los Angeles Lakers in the 1984 finals by the name of Irvin Magic Johnson. The series was the first championship meeting between Larry Bird and Magic since their record-breaking collegiate showdown. The two were now the faces of a surging NBA, revitalized thanks to their mastery and rivalry. What did Magic do? He choked. Pretty hard. In Game 2, he dribbled out the final 11 seconds in regulation of a tied game without putting up a shot. The Lakers lost in overtime. In Game 4, Magic had his pass picked off with 4 seconds left in regulation of a tied game. Then in overtime, missed both free throws with 35 seconds left, with the score tied again. The Lakers lost. In Game 7, Magic turned the ball over twice in the final 90 seconds of a tightly contested game. The Lakers lost. Basketball writers were
Bird Gang, where y'all at? Shout out to the Bird Gang, man. I just reacted to this 1984 finals too. I just did all 7 games. So if y'all haven't checked that out, go check that out right now.
And cutting. The fact was, he didn't have what it took to come through in the big moments, despite previous evidence to the contrary. And that's not how we remember Magic Johnson. We remember him as a player who came through in big games, had big performances, and who you wanted to have the ball when the game got close. Could it be because he led the Lakers to 3 championships after his '84 meltdown? So why is it that some people's opinions on LeBron James haven't changed in the last 9 years? How are 3 championships and 7 more consecutive finals not some sort of redemption? Because of this right here, the magic bullet. 3-6 in finals.
That ain't gonna cut it.
Not that he's won 3 championships, or that he's made 9 finals, or that he's spent almost the entire decade of the 2010s playing June basketball. It's that he's made it 9 times and lost 6 times. Would it be better if he were 3-0 or 3-3? It is not a meaningful or insightful conversation in any capacity to boil down a player's entire career, his contributions, strengths, weaknesses, and subtleties.
I got a question for y'all. Yeah, would it have been better if instead of those 6 finals losses that he had, say if he would have lost in the Eastern Conference or Western Conference finals those years. So I think it was Eastern Conference finals. Say he didn't even make it to the finals in those 6 years that he lost. So he was 3-0 in the finals, but never made it 9 times to the final. I feel like that would have made his resume look better, which it shouldn't because he actually went further, actually going to the finals and losing. But just that 3-6 looks terrible in the finals. But let me know what y'all think. Y'all think it would have been better if he would have just not win at all? Or you think this 3-6 still looks better than 3-0 in the finals but losing 6 times in the Eastern Conference Championship? Let me know.
To just his record in the NBA Finals. How is it that making it to the finals and losing is worse than not making it at all? If you take the time to actually look at how he ended up in those series and what he actually did in them, I have no idea how you could misconstrue his finals performances as a hindrance to his case. We talked about 07, 11, 12, and 13. Of those 4, the first was a loss to a team with an actual roster and head coach. The second was a loss that can be pinned entirely on James, and the last 2 were victories. In 2014, the Spurs played absolutely divine basketball. You cannot play the game better. LeBron and Chris Bosh were the only players on the roster who showed up. Nobody else, either because of age or mileage, could handle the physical toll of a 4th straight finals. LeBron led the Heat in every stat but blocks. He averaged 28, 7, and 4 while shooting 57, 51, 79 splits. As Mike Tyson said to Sports Illustrated, the Spurs won because they deserved to, not because of what LeBron didn't do. You're out of your mind if you think that the 2015 finals is a black mark on LeBron's legacy. The Cavs lost Kevin Love in the first round and Kyrie Irving in Game 1 of the finals against the Warriors. But LeBron was so supremely impressive that Cleveland actually had a prayer of winning the series, which garnered him finals MVP votes despite being on the losing team. His averages were unreal, and Andre Iguodala won the award specifically because he kept LeBron from doing more damage. In 2017, after a super weird regular season, the Cavs flipped the switch and cruised to the finals against the new-look Warriors with Kevin Durant.
Why was the 2017 regular season weird? He just kind of skated past that a little bit, but I don't know why it was weird. Let me know.
LeBron became the first player to average a triple-double in the finals, but the Cavs lost in 5, keeping the Warriors from sweeping their way through the entire playoffs. In 2018, without Kyrie, LeBron had a run that was eerily similar to his 2007 streak. Game winners, crazy numbers, Game 7s, the whole thing. The culmination of the run happened in Game 1 of the finals, when LeBron scored an earth-shattering 51 points, giving the Cavs a chance to take a 1-0 lead in the series.
Hey!
And then this happened.
Rebound goes to the Cavs. J.R. Smith brings it back out.
Junior Smith. Come on, Junior Smith.
For the past 13 years in a row, every team that LeBron James has played on has been in contention to win the championship regardless of the roster around him. We're not going to play the what-if game, but he's proven that he doesn't need the league's all-time leading scorer as a teammate or the Zen master as a coach. He also doesn't need time off between finals. It took him 8 straight finals before he finally wore down. Give him any coach, give him any teammates, and by the sheer brilliance of his play, your team is now a championship contender. And I don't have to make the argument that 3 rings is more than 5 or 6 or 11, because that's not how we evaluate these players. We don't just look at ring totals, otherwise Robert Horry would be on Mount Rushmore. Yes, it's all about winning, but it's really not. We try to synthesize things like play style, competition, success, achievements, accolades, and the like into a more cohesive and complete picture. Just asking, did they win, when trying to argue for the greatest basketball player of all time is the wrong question, because, it's a team sport. The better question to ask is which player gave their team the best chance to win? Who meant the most to their teams? And the answer to that question is LeBron James. Is there any better example of this than the 2016 finals? What other player in that situation would have been able to do what LeBron did? He didn't try to will his team to victory by just jacking up shots. He picked his spots perfectly, got his teammates involved, and inspired a belief that they could win despite the odds. The series is the perfect testimony to the value of LeBron James. They were facing the 73-9 Warriors, the best record in NBA history, single-digit losses in an 82-game season. Cap it off with a title, and they instantly have a claim as the best basketball team ever. And after the first 4 games of the series, they have a 3-1 lead. No team in that position had ever lost. That lead in that series has proven throughout history to be insurmountable. Game 5 in Oakland. Kyrie shoots 70% from the floor.
Before we just kind of explain how they came all the way back from 3-1, we know what happened. So I want y'all to answer this for me. Is this comeback, just this whole scenario, one of the greatest moments in NBA history? It has to be. It really has to be. If you say it's not, you must really don't like LeBron. But they were down 3-1 to a team that was 73-9. Like, the odds is so much against you. And don't get me wrong, Kyrie. Without Kyrie, it does not happen. LeBron is not winning that without Kyrie. But without LeBron, Kyrie wouldn't even be in the playoffs. So I don't even want to even say that. But this is crazy, man. This is crazy. Let's see how they explain this.
Floor to rack up 41 points. LeBron matches him with 41 of his own, plus 16 rebounds and 7 assists. Tristan Thompson is the only other Cavalier in double digits. Game 6 in Cleveland. LeBron spearheads a blowout with another 41-point performance, with 8 rebounds and 11 assists to go along with it. The momentum of the series has palpably shifted. Game 7 had legacy.
Game 7 Warriors
at
is
it
sweating.
seems. Something historic was going to happen.
You down 3-1 and you make it all the way back to Game 7. The other team is sweating. In this situation, the Warriors are sweating. They didn't let this team come all the way back. It's 0-0 now. Oh, yeah. There's no way you should
No
lose
matter
this
how
game.
the game ended, either the Warriors were about to cap off the most successful basketball season ever, or the Cavs were going to do the unthinkable. A 3-1 comeback, their first franchise title, Cleveland's first championship in 52 years, all made possible by LeBron James. A Cleveland win in Game 7 represented the single most significant feat that any player has ever achieved. The most anticipated high school basketball player in a lifetime, who became the chosen one 45 minutes away from the team that would draft him, who took that team to brand new heights, who broke that city's heart in an astonishing way, came back to try to make things right, and was now 1 game away from fulfilling his promise in an unprecedented comeback against a record-breaking opponent. He isn't Michael
block
Jordan.
of all time.
Don't expect him to be. He's not Magic Johnson either. He's not Larry Bird or Bill Russell or Wilt Chamberlain.
Or Kobe
He's
Bryant.
LeBron James, the most valuable basketball player ever. The most complete basketball player who's ever lived. The greatest basketball player of all time.
Wow. Okay, is that it? Great ass video, man. And I get it. As a Cleveland fan, I 100% can understand you being pissed off with LeBron leaving that first time and going to Miami. But this second time around, after doing that to the 73-9 Warriors, you can do whatever you want to after that, Brian. You done won us our championship. Go ahead and go to LA. Go ahead and go to Hollywood and, start filming in in Space Jam and all this different stuff. Like, I get it. So as a Cleveland fan, you can't be mad at him for leaving that second time. He did what he needed to do for your city. And that's kind of how I feel about it. Let me know if y'all feel the same. But I appreciate y'all for watching. This is a long ass video, but we made it through. I think it was a very, very great, informative video. This is going to kind of be my jump start to binging more LeBron videos. I got some stuff where I think they're going to be comparing him to Larry Bird. I got, some of his best games. I got a lot of stuff coming up with LeBron. So be tuned for that. If you're a big LeBron fan, you are in the right place. If you're not a big LeBron fan, you're also in the right place because it's going to give you more information to become a fan. But I appreciate y'all for watching again, man. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel if y'all haven't already. Make sure y'all like this video if y'all like this video. And go ahead and write something in the comments. Write what other videos y'all want me to react to. But I appreciate y'all, man. We out.